Well, I started thinking about what does this word actually mean. I mean, if you go to a dictionary and you look up the word Semite, it will say somebody who speaks the Semitic languages, and those are the languages in the Middle East. And I started thinking, especially because I was interested in what happened in Nazi Germany. And if you read the work of Adolf Hitler, where Hitler says that he wasn't interested in the religion of the Jewish people, that he was going to kill 11 million because they were not white. And so then I started thinking, like a lot of words are given surface definitions so as to avoid the real in-depth definition. And so I said, oh, this word really comes from the Latin semi, which is half. Like the people who are in the area that is so-called the Middle East. Those are people who are mixtures of black people and white people who invaded Africa in that area from Europe, white-skinned people. And so it's a term that means the same as our term mixed race. And so no matter, for example, it's like there are black people who, because of racial mixture, look like white people. They could so-called pass for white. Many black families have people in their family who can pass for white. Some people pass and go over into the white group. And so anytime you have populations of white and people of color, then so-called mixed race people are produced. And I say that this is what happened. I mean, if Hitler says, I want Germany to be pure, I want it to be pure white, I want it to be Aryan. And anybody who has mixture, that's why Hitler did, who are your grandparents? I see how you look, but who are your grandparents? And so that's what he says in his book, Mein Kampf, that Jews are not white. And the term itself, anti-Semitism, not anti-Judaism, but anti-Semitism. And that fits with a system dynamic that is based on skin coloration. And see, skin coloration is very, very important when you have the particular demographics that exist on planet Earth, where fewer than 1/10 of the people are white and 9/10 of the people are people of color, black, brown, red, and yellow. And so if there was no emphasis on the part of people who classify themselves as white and no setting up a system based on who's white and who's not white, then because white is a genetic recessive trait, it's a mutation from black, then white would disappear. Because you have an overwhelming number of people of color. And so if people who classify themselves as white want to survive as such, then they have to structure what we have. Black, get back, brown, stick around, yellow, mellow, white, right. Where black has to be at the very bottom because black has the greatest genetic potential to cause white genetic annihilation. So I say this is what this word means. It would be, people used to talk about blacks, whites, and Jews. And I say what they're really saying is black, whites, and mixed race. So you can't, it's not logical to talk about two colors and then talk about a religion.
Mm-hmm.
So it's black, whites, and people who are mixed race. I mean, so this is not black terminology. This is terminology that has developed within the system of racism, white supremacy. See, like here in this country, so-called, they will talk about non-Hispanic whites. Since there are Hispanic people that call themselves white, but white people will say non-Hispanic whites, meaning real white people. Because the people in Central America and in South America have a whole lot of color gradations that they go through. But they have clarity about who is really white and who are the darkest people. And then the people play games about who they are, all in the middle. But white, someone who, like, they say non-Hispanic whites, meaning a real white person, not somebody who calls himself white and has got some melanin in their skin, but somebody who is really white. See, people who classify themselves as white, who are the real white people, they have to know, they have to do this kind of color planning, although it's not talked about openly. But this is what the whole cultural system, power dynamic is really all about.